Hello, everybody. At this time, we are talking about strategy formulation. Strategy formulation refers to strategic planning or long range planning. It is connected with developing an organization's mission, objectives, strategies, and policies. This begins with analyzing the situation, finding the strategic fit between external opportunities and internal strength. Also, while working around external threats and weaknesses, as analyzing the strategic factors in the light of the current situations. Opportunity divided by capacity is the essence of strategy. A company cannot exploit an opportunity without the capacity or resources. And then we move to levels of strategy formulation. In business, there are three levels of strategy. Defining a strategy for each of these levels may help your team align your efforts and optimize your operations. It may also help you visualize the future of the organization and determine what steps you should take to scale your operations along with changing market conditions. There are the three levels of strategy. The first, corporate level. How you structure the organization and coordinate across business units. And then the second, business level. How you target and retain customers and compete with other organizations in your market. And third, functional level. How you plan to grow and improve the organization. And then we move to the key differences between strategy formulation and strategic planning. We start from the first about purpose. Strategy formulation defines the direction, and strategic planning turns this direction into concrete actions. And then second, focus. Formulation is high level and conceptual, while planning is detailed and operational. And then third, outcomes. The outcome of strategic planning is a clear action plan that outlines steps, timelines, and responsibilities to execute the strategy effectively. And then we move to steps of strategy formulation. The first step, establishing organizational objectives. This involves establishing long-term goals of an organization. Strategic decisions can be taken once the organizational objectives are determined. And then second, analysis of organizational environment. This involves SWOT analysis, meaning identifying the company's strengths and weaknesses and keeping vigilance over competitors' actions to understand opportunities and threats. And then third, forming quantitative goals. Defining targets so as to meet the company's short-term and long-term objectives. For example, 30% increase in revenue this year of a company. And then fourth, objectives in context with divisional plans. This involves setting up targets for every department so that they work in coherence with the organizations as a whole. And then fifth, performance analysis. This is done to estimate the degree of variation between the actual and the standard performance of an organization. And sixth, selection of strategy. This is the final step of strategy formulation. It involves evaluation of the alternatives and selection of the best strategy amongst them to be the strategy of the organization. And then we move to the need for strategy formulation. During the process of strategy formulation, an organization's leaders consider a range of factors such as market trends, customers' trends and needs, competitor behavior, technological development, and regulating requirements. They also assess the organization's resources, including its financial, human, and physical assets, to determine how best to allocate those resources to achieve its objectives. The outcome of strategy formulation is typically a strategic plan that outlines the organization's goals, objectives, and actions required to achieve them. This plan provides a framework for decision making and guides the allocation of resources as well as the design and implementation of specific initiatives and projects. Effective strategy formulation is critical to an organization's success as it ensures that its efforts are aligned with its overall mission and vision, and that it is well positioned to compete in its chosen markets. And then we move to the challenges in strategy formulation. The first challenge, rapidly changing environments. Keeping pace with fast-changing industry trends, technologies, and repetitive dynamics for competition. And then the second, complexity in decision making. Making informed decisions in the face of uncertainty and complex interdependencies between various strategic factors. And then third, resource constraints. Balancing ambitious strategic goals with the practical limitations of available resources. And fourth, aligning diverse interests. Reconciling the differing priorities and interests of various stakeholders within and outside the organization. And then we move to advantages of strategic formulation. The first advantage, rather than reactively responding to problems, it allows organizations to be proactive. Organizations can anticipate and prepare for their future by preparing a strategic plan. Strategic planning may make taking necessary precautions to avoid certain unfavorable scenarios possible. And second, it can enhance the longevity of a business. A well thought out strategy is crucial. Especially, it is crucial tool for organizational growth and change. Managers are unsure about the future and whether they contribute to the organization goals without as well defined plan. And then third, this gives the organizations a direction. The strategy formulation process allows the organization to concentrate its efforts, preventing time and money from being allocated to areas that are not critical to its success. I think it is enough. Thanks for watching.